Okay, this is a discussion about AP automation in the context of a non-PO invoice, and we're going to dwell on the OCR process of digitization because that's the difference here. So just to remind you of the map of the territory here, suppliers are sending things over. We're focusing in on emailed PDF or scanned paper, worst case scenario. We're going to be using our OCR extractor, but also I'm going to talk about the supplier verification workflow. And just a note, we don't have POs, GRs, or SES to work with as well here. So starting on the buyer side here, we're going to focus in on saved invoices. These are the draft invoices that are coming by email, and later on we want to get them into the received invoices where they could be treated just like everything else. So let's look at from the supplier's point of view. We're going to pretend supplier 3 is this doing company. They're going to send to a particular email address. Obviously, if you already have emails coming from folks, we're going to route them accordingly. They're going to attach a document that is their invoice and just send it on off from there. No clue from their subject line in the email to help us. We're just going to have to deal with that. We send back to their email a acknowledgement that we received their invoice and we're working on it. So now flipping back over onto the buy side, receiving of the invoices, AP clerks are going to come in, and you'll notice that the metadata has already been pulled out of the invoice there at the top and summarized. But if we dig down into it, you can see the details with the digital version on the left that's been extracted and the original version on the right. You'll notice that the invoice number and date and so on has been extracted accordingly. There's other fields in here too, but we're going to focus a little bit on some special characteristics here. For example, there's no order number, so we're going to put in the vendor's name here just as a pro forma thing. But let's click next. On the line data, this is interesting. It starts to pull out all the line data as well according to the template. But we're going to point out a couple things here. There's a description line that's actually 3 columns wide. If you look very closely at on the right hand side, you'll notice that there's 3 columns, I guess shirt size and shirt color. So we put them all together in the description. So we configured that in the template to do that correctly and pull that out as needed. You'll also notice that the amounts here are going to be interpolated correctly too, because there's VAT and there's discounts involved here, and they all need to match up correctly. So you need to extract them at the right time, and we've created a configuration that's looking for that nuance as well, because different countries have different things that are going on, whether the VAT is on the gross or the net or whatever. So anyway, there's 2 things that are just pointed out here against this particular type of invoice. The summary of the invoice totals is on this page with VAT called out correctly and even some adjustments if there's been some rounding errors and things like that. At any rate, you could see all of the digital information now, getting rid of the original to look at, and the amounts are matching as needed so that this can be sent without any errors on the digitization. That's an important point. So here we go, and we send it, and once it's sent successfully, then it goes from being in the saved invoices into received invoices. So now it's official. You should be accruing for it. And right now it's up at the top line there. You'll notice that it's pending. This is because it's a non-PO invoice, and because non-PO invoices, you don't just pay them without looking at them. It invokes a workflow, which you could see here in the upper left-hand corner. That workflow has been invoked, and the person who needs to approve it would be getting an email. In this case, it's a guy who speaks Hebrew. So his email, the workflow, just to show off, we have multi-language, right? So the workflow is going to land as an email on his side in the correct language that he'd like to work in. Now, after all that, we think that there should be a better way to do this, not have the AP team or a shared service team do this, but use the supplier to do verification that the OCR process is working correctly. All those details there, they should be handled by the supplier because it's their fault that you're getting non-digital invoices. For that, click on the I in the upper right-hand corner to see the verification video.